We're continuing to follow the breaking news about Susan Rice, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, who has withdrawn her name for consideration as Hillary Clinton's successor as Secretary of State. She says it's become way too partisan, way too political. The best course right now is to let the president select someone else. Let's bring in our strategy session. Joining us right now, the Democratic strategist and CNN contributor, Donna Brazile, the former Bush White House speechwriter, David Frum, also a CNN contributor. What was your reaction just a little while ago, David, when you heard the dramatic news that Susan Rice was pulling herself out of consideration?
I was surprised. Here is a strongly reelected second-term president. This seems to have been the person he most wanted to have. At least that's what we've been led to believe. And he got pushed back from it. I was surprised by that. He gave a sacrifice to his opponents. I don't think other presidents in his position would have yielded in the way that President Obama yielded.
I agree with everything that David just said. First of all, I was angry. I got a call from Roland Martin, who said, have you heard the news? And I said, absolutely, she should not step down. President Obama has not even made his intentions known, and yet for 2 months, she's been attacked viciously. I've been in Washington for 30 years, so I understand the attack game. But she was attacked for her qualifications, and she was bludgeoned over Benghazi before we have any information that's going to come from Ambassador Pickering. I think it's unfair. I thought the attacks were gratuitous. I thought it's mean-spirited. This is the old boys network, so as you can tell, I don't like it. Susan is more than qualified to hold the position. I wish the president would have went forward, and women like myself, and perhaps some good men like David, would have found reasons to support her. I understand that there's a partisan nature of this, and the Republicans are having an issue with her, but this is a very well-qualified woman, and she should have had the job.
So you're saying he should have fought for her?
Absolutely.
Here's the question I am left with. Does this mean that the Benghazi story is something the president dearly wants to put to bed, that there is something in this story that is so embarrassing that he wants to avoid hearings? And Susan Rice has, rightly or wrongly, become the target for the hearings, and maybe there is some kind of understanding that if she steps off the stage, she becomes the blood sacrifice, and maybe she goes to some other job, that now there will be fewer questions asked because something went terribly wrong. 4 people are dead.
Yes.
There is a resignation due from somebody. Maybe that question now will not be asked.
You just heard Mike Rogers, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, says flatly there was, quote, gross negligence by U.S. officials in not protecting Ambassador Stevens and the three other Americans who were killed in Benghazi. We're going to get Ambassador Pickering's report next week, and the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is scheduled to testify before the House and the Senate on December 20th on all of this. So presumably we will know who was responsible for what Mike Rogers calls gross negligence.
Absolutely, and the Congress should also put itself on the agenda because, remember, they cut back on embassy security. But Susan Rice went out there in September, and then all of a sudden, late October, and after the president, she was viciously attacked by Senator McCain. You know, I've always said good things about McCain. He's a man of honor, but the way he went after Susan, it was personal, it was gratuitous. I don't understand all of the politics. I don't even know if I want to understand the politics. But Susan Rice is a very smart woman. As ambassador, she's done so much. I'll write all about it. I'm going to tweet about her tenure, and I hope the president finds some place in his cabinet, his administration, so that Susan Rice can continue to serve this great country.
You can blame Susan Rice. Maybe she should have said something differently on those 5 Sunday talk shows. You can't blame Susan Rice for gross negligence in these diplomats who were killed.
But I think the drama, as you know, the drama and logic of these Senate moments is they want a resignation. They've got one. In effect, they've got one. And now whoever it was is breathing a sigh of relief somewhere because the Senate probably does not need 2 resignations over Benghazi.
She's a good soldier for doing this. She tries to make it a little bit easier for the president. But, Donna, I rarely see you as upset and as angry and disappointed in the president of the United States as you are right now.
Let me just be honest. I'm not just disappointed that President Obama didn't go forward. He accepted her letter of resignation or her letter to not put her name forward. I can understand that the president doesn't want to use all of his political capital having to refight these battles. And he said he was very sad. He regret the kind of partisanship. That said, Wolf, you know this city. They had the knives out for Susan, a whole bunch of people. It was just unfair. This is the old boys network. This is how it operates. When they don't want women to continue to step up the ladder, this is what they do. They pull the chair from underneath you. All I'm saying is that Susan is a very bright, successful woman, and the way she was attacked, David, I mean,
I
they
think
attacked her qualifications.
It has
They
nothing
attacked
to-
her background.
We haven't
it
had
was terrible.
We haven't had a white man as Secretary of State in what, 8 years?
I didn't mention
So-
race. I said sexism. You
well,
understand there's a difference?
But we've had some female secretaries of state before, also 3 of them. So I don't think that's what's going on here. What is going on? There are other kinds of politics. There's the need for a Benghazi sacrifice. There's the president's need to protect other people in his administration who maybe he cares about more. Now, the next chapter of the comedy is this: if the president goes ahead with nominating Chuck Hagel as Secretary of Defense, which is rumored today, how will Senator McCain feel that the president has chosen a former Republican Senate colleague of John McCain's who did not support John McCain for the presidency?
Ambassador Rice is a very smart. She is tough. Well, she's handled so many tough issues. The Israelis, North Korea, the situation in Syria. I mean, Africa.
She could stay on as the U.S. ambassador to the United
so.
Nations.
But
She doesn't have to go through confirmation for that
Her
again.
record they have tried to tarnish her good name and her good reputation. I not only know Susan Rice very well, I knew her father. I know the kind of people she comes from. She's a hardworking, very
I got to wrap it up, but quickly, how would you feel if for some reason Tom Donilon, the president's national security advisor, moves on to something else, and there's rumors he might want to do something else? The president names Susan Rice to be his national security advisor. She doesn't need Senate confirmation for that.
Look, President Obama respects Susan Rice, and I hope he will find a place for her at the table because she deserved to have a seat at the table.
Donna, not mincing words.
And I came in today. I wasn't supposed to, but I came in.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very proud of you, David.
Proud of Susan Rice.
Thank you. No, she is she's a good lady. She's a very good lady. All right, guys, thanks very much. We're going to continue the breaking news coverage much more right after this.